Hello, I'm Don Trapmore, one of the two directors of Synchron, along with my co-director, John Prosser. I would like to wish you a fantastic new year, and we wish you all the health and prosperity for a wonderful 2015. You know, we regarded 2013 as our annus horribilis, our horrible year. We lost our good friend Paul Rigglehuth and our co-director and business partner. In doing so, in 2013, we were forced to reinvent ourselves, to change the way we did business, to reallocate Paul's duties, if you like. So 2014 was very much a regrouping year. That was the year in which we looked at ourselves and we said, we need to grow. We need to grow considerably to gain critical mass if we are to deliver the services that you, as an advisor, need to have and you should expect to get from your licensee. But in 2014, there were forces working against us and against every other licensee in the industry. Future of Financial Advice came and went, and then came back again. We had a hostile Senate. We had a government that was trying to make changes to enhance our industry, and a Senate that was hell-bent on blocking those changes and changing it and stopping it happening. At least I got the grandfathering issue fixed. So, you know, we had a ridiculous situation where the Hotel California, if you like, was embodied in legislation, so an advisor couldn't move from one licensee to another unless they were prepared to lose a considerable amount of their income stream. During 2014, Australian Securities and Investments Commission, ASIC, our corporate regulator, focused on risk insurance and did a risk survey in which they reviewed files from a range of risk specialist large licensees, and Synchron was one of them. They came out with an almost preconceived report where a failure rate of 37% across the board was shown. Now, if that's the case, that's a pretty disastrous result. I mean, it really is a bad result for our industry, and Synchron is a very large part of our industry. So against this backdrop of legislative changes and regulatory attention, we had some ambitious growth targets. Back in June 2013, not long after we lost Paul, the management team of Synchron got together. Our corporate chair, Mr. Michael Harrison, John Prosser, myself, and our state managers, Paul Delgrand, Bernie Fernandez, Jerry Porter, and John Batchelor, gathered together in country Victoria. And we looked from the inside out on how we could change ourselves to meet the challenges of the growth we needed to have moving forward. So we also got some external people to look inwards to us. These were executives from life insurance companies that we respected and we trusted. These are three senior executives. We asked them to come along and tell us, in their opinion, what we had to do as a licensee to become in the top 10 of all licensees in Australia by advisor count. Like, quite frankly, we're already the largest non-institutionally owned licensee in Australia by a large margin. That means any licensee larger than us is owned by a bank, insurance company, or is owned by a publicly listed company. So, we are the largest non-institutionally owned licensee by a very large margin. We wanted to be in the top 10. We want to be in the top 10 of all licensees within 3 years. Okay, that was 18 months ago. So where are we now? In December 2013, 297 advisors called Synchron home. Today, as at today, 355 advisors are part of the Synchron family. That's an 18% increase over last year. It's a pretty big jump. You can increase any business by 18%. And those advisors are three in South Australia. We have three very professional advisors in South Australia and nothing else. We have 17 in Tasmania, which makes us probably the second largest licensee in the island, in the state. In Western Australia, 2 years ago, we had 14 reps. We now have 48. In New South Wales, 61 authorised representatives. Queensland, 101. And in Victoria, 125. A total of 355 authorised representatives. 5 years ago, only 5 years ago, we had 147 authorised representatives around Australia, and Morningstar Research House rated us as number 30 in Australia, number 30 in Australia. At 355 reps as we now have, our reading of the stats would indicate that we are currently, we believe, number 12 in Australia by advisor count. That's only 2 out of the top 10, which is pretty good. Last year, in 2013, we did $38 million of turnovers. $38 million of your money went through our books, and we paid it out. This year, as at today, $48 million. That's a pretty big jump. 48,200 and something thousand actually. The dollars of your money went through Synchron's books as new business, as renewals, as fees. We also did $20 million of risk new business, and NMG Research House actually ranks Synchron as number 6 in Australia on risk new business. So we're punching way above our weight, there's no question about that. During 2014, we were blessed with a stable staff, and we didn't lose any staff during 2014. In fact, we increased our staffing by another 4 people. If you're going to have an ambitious growth target, you've got to do it in a sustainable way. So what did we do to do that? Number 1 is compliance. And we increased the compliance team by another 3 people. So 3 out of the 4 appointees were within compliance. We had 2 new additions to the audit and mentor team. So Phil Smith, very experienced advisor in Victoria, has joined our audit and mentor team. And Frank Smith, unrelated, an experienced auditor, and actually did work with ASIC at some time, joined our team in New South Wales. We also employed Paul Prosser, which is John Prosser's son actually, in the compliance team, working with Rose Cobden as our compliance officer. Simone Ciancio, an experienced advisor and a long-time Synchron advisor for that matter, has now joined our advisor services team, working with Jonathan in delivering the services you need, and also assisting advisors who are just joining Synchron to get their clients across the line. 2014. What a cracker of a year, eh? We had the Simply the Best conference. That was, it wasn't just the name of the conference, it simply was the best conference. What a time we had. Those who are at the conference will remember, you get a mobile phone. This is my name. You get a mobile phone and you push Siri. Karen Jacobson talks to you. Karen Jacobson was one of our guests. Karen Jacobson sang the Australian National Anthem and the US National Anthem to start, and gave a talk later on. She's also known as the GPS girl, so if you own a Garmin or a TomTom GPS, you'd certainly be used to Karen Jacobson's voice, one of the most heard voices in the world. She was one of our speakers. We had a number of other speakers. It was a sensational conference. 3 days in Disneyland, 1 day at the Beverly Hilton. But geez, we had some special guests there too. When we went to the Beverly Hilton, we were told that the Stardust room, which is a room we'd booked 2 years earlier, was no longer available to us. Why? Because the president was in-house. So we had Barack Obama and his family in-house in the Beverly Hilton while we were there for our gala dinner. No, we didn't see him. Although one of Synchron's advisors and one of the sales executives actually had a workout in the gym next to Barack Obama. How cool was that? Secret Service guards were everywhere. I got frisked and one passed over, and we had to go through the metal detectors just to get up to our rooms, but it was exciting. Great conference, a lot of information and a lot of fun. We announced the location of our 2016 conference, Hong Kong. Wow, won't that be good? But for the first time in the history of Synchron's conferences, we're going to have a post-conference tour. It's an optional tour, but it's an optional post-conference tour, those that want to do it. And that will be to Beijing to see the Forbidden City, the Great Wall of China, the Hutong region, the Summer Palace, and on to another town called Xi'an. I think it's pronounced Jian, which is the ancient capital of China where the Terracotta Warriors are. I went and had a look at the Terracotta Warriors along with Josie Vella. By crikey, I must admit, that was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. 2014 was a cracker of a year. 2013, we did regard as our Annus Horribilis. 2014, we probably have to regard as our Annus Mirabilis. For those that are a little bit students of Latin, look it up. Annus Mirabilis, it means a wonderful year. And it was a wonderful year because of you. What's in store for 2015? We'll start with February Professional Development Days. We've got cricketing legend Max Walker coming around Australia with us. What a blast that will be. Maxie is a great raconteur, knows his stuff. In addition to that, we have some very meaty subjects to talk about during the first PD day. March in Canberra will be the Synchron Next Gen Conference. That's a signature conference of Synchron's, only available to advisors and sales executives 40 years of age and under. Others have tried to copy it. No one can. It's a cracker of a conference. We continue to be the only licensee in Australia to pay daily. You know, between Christmas and New Year, Jessica Ponzo worked every day, as did I and a few other staff members, and Jonathan and Rose and Paul and John and myself. We worked every day. In that period of time, Jessica paid out to advisors $987,469.22. I mean, that's close to $1 million she paid out between Christmas and New Year. Hey, most licensees weren't even open between Christmas and New Year, and we paid out nearly $1 million to you guys. How good is that? At a time when you needed money the most. In June 2013, we asked the executives of the life companies what we had to do to reach top 10 by advisor numbers. And we were told, amongst things, that we had to lose the family. We had to lose the fact that we run Synchron like a family business and adopt a more corporate structure. John and I believe that's too high a price to pay to reach a point in the pecking order. We regard Synchron as a family. And we believe that you can pick up a phone and you can ring me. You can pick up a phone and you can ring John. You don't have to go through a labyrinth as you would in a corporatized structure. We believe we can reach our corporate goals of being top 10, and we can do that and still maintain the family feel of Synchron. Our national conference is very much a family-friendly conference. It's past 5 o'clock. Yes, well past 5 o'clock. John Pross is still here. I'm still here. The rest of the staff have gone home, of course. It's New Year's Eve. Why shouldn't they go home? I should be going home and John should be going home. And I dare say when you see this video, you'll probably be home or be in your office. Thank you for being part of the Synchron family during 2014. We do once again wish you a prosperous and healthy new year. See you in 2015.